Welcome to the Wizards of Ecom, your no-fluff playbook for online success. Each episode is fully packed with actionable tactics you can implement in your business right now. Take your life to a higher level and excel in your online success. It's time to work on you and your business. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Wizards of Ecom podcast. This is episode number 144. My name is Carlos Alvarez, and I'll be your host for the show. On today's episode, I have an amazing and inspirational Amazon Live, Amazon seller, and TikTok influencer, Natasha Mensah. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Hello, Carlos. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I am legitimately very pumped for this episode.
Same here. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm pumped.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot. When I first started this episode, this show, I would imagine that I'd be pumped every single episode. Yeah. In reality, that's not it. I give my all every episode, but I'm like legitimately jazzed for this one. So it's going to be great.
I feel very special. This is awesome.
Absolutely, you are. To give some background to somebody listening to this, we've known each other for ages, right? Like, what is it? 2 months now? A month?
Yeah. A few weeks.
A few weeks. Yes. Not even a month. We met at Dima Kubrak's Rise event. We were both speakers there. And, I thought the event was amazing. I thought your presentation was amazing. I presented on Amazon Live Video, and I'm going to be honest, like before the conference, I saw you as a speaker and I said, I'm going to be exposed as a fraud here. Like, this is
not true. You were amazing.
Well, you know, I'm very like fly by the seat of your pants, not intentional influencer, like break a lot of stuff, learn from it and keep going. You've got it all dialed in, like with what your presentation rocked, you rocked the mic, everything. It was amazing, like complete package. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be exposed as a fraud here. You're like the most genuine person I've met.
Thank you.
It looks like we're gonna collab on a lot of stuff. That is my hope.
Yes, sir. We are. Can't get rid of me now.
Yes, and you're one of those people that I spoke to, and I'm just like, I've got to get this person on the show. Like, this is gonna be great. So I was hesitant to even ask a lot of questions of you there, because I found that if I can get someone on the show and I don't already know the answer, it just comes across as like raw. So here we are. Another thing that I told myself I wouldn't do anymore, but in this case, I just have to, because this is like foundational here, is for the listeners of the show who do not know you, right? We're going to link to how to get a hold of you, your social handles, your amazing TikTok and everything like that. You're a seller on Amazon for quite some time, it seems.
Started as an Amazon seller.
Yeah. Started as an Amazon seller. And now you are, I'm saying Amazon and a TikTok influencer, or would you call yourself? Yeah, for both. Yes. Yeah. Amazon and TikTok influencer period. You're two of your main channels. Yeah.
Social media influencer. Yeah.
And you have a lot of other amazing superpowers in your life. So how did all this come about? How did you get into selling on Amazon? Yeah. And how does that translate into influencers? A lot of people start selling and then it's just like, let me hide in the basement somewhere. No one really has to know me. It's Amazon. I don't need social skills, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, man, Carlos, that's exactly how I started also. So I was very typical Amazon seller. So I started off actually I was a nurse. I was an RN, became a stay-home mom, in my kitchen learning. This was about 7 years ago now, decided that I wanted to have an e-commerce business. I could see that's, where the world was headed. And my husband at the time, he was an engineer. So we were doing what everyone was supposed to be doing. You have your careers, your family, and you're a slave to your job. And we couldn't see each other. We were miserable. We're like, no, let's get into this online game, all self-taught. Started Amazon, took one of those Amazon courses, failed a lot, but eventually it took off. And, within the first year, we grew to 7 figures, started off as a makeup brand, lots of failures along the way. That's my disclaimer, but we didn't quit. And then, we were living the Amazon dream, a few years ago, where it's kind of like how everybody else started, where you just have tools. You don't have to do anything else really, except for throw some products on Amazon, and all of a sudden you have a 7-figure company. And things changed for us. So we had 4 kids, all under 5. And in 2018.
I'm sorry, you have 4 kids and they're all under 5 right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're talking about then.
So back then when we started the Amazon business, I had 3 kids under 3. And then when we kind of just started the business, I had my 4th kid. So I had 4 kids in 5 years, no business background, no marketing background, and we launched our Amazon business.
I want to interject. I shouldn't interrupt. This is like cardinal sin podcasting 101,
No, it's
right?
all good. Go.
I have to here because everyone listening to this audio, this makes perfect sense. And Dima got away with saying this, at the conference. So I'm highly recommending everybody check this YouTube video out, because like, forgive me, but you look like you have no kids. Like, and we're going to get into the fitness side and all that other stuff, but it's like, it's shocking. Like it's pretty amazing. Okay. So go ahead. You have 3 kids. You have 3 kids at this point, under 3, and you start the Amazon business. Yeah.
And we're broke. Like we're like, the reason why I even started exploring e-commerce was like, I wanted some extra money to, to help pay for groceries. Like we're typical middle class, kind of just getting by, paying bills, but not living luxuriously at all, like just very basic stuff. And I was like, no, we don't want to do this anymore. So we got into the Amazon business, had lots of failures, but thank God, it took off. We were doing really well, living really, really well. He essentially became a stay-at-home dad, which was his dream also. And we were raising our kids. And then in 2017, he was 34 at the time. His name is Andrew. Andrew got diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So you can imagine the shock that, it just completely devastated us. I stopped doing the business completely. He focused on the business. At that point, we had a team, and we were growing. And I just completely focused on taking care of him and the kids. We had, our 4 little kids. My youngest daughter was 1 at the time when he got diagnosed. Oldest one was 6. And I just was focused on taking care of him, cooking for him, juicing for him. He had his, chemotherapy treatments. He had surgeries. We were doing natural stuff. We were like literally doing everything for 2 years. And he was doing really, really good. Like no one even knew he had cancer. He was healthy. He was running his business. We were still traveling, everything. And fast forward to it was right before 2019. Actually, it was the very beginning of 2019. It was in February, he passed away from the cancer. And it was extremely devastating because he was running everything and he was doing so well. So we thought that, he was going to live. Like that's what we were planning on. And it was just like after Christmas, he just took such a sudden change for the worst. And it was like within 2 weeks, he was gone. And I had to jump in and take over a failing business that had been severely neglected. And that's where my journey begins, part 2.
And this is, first of all, like, it's hard for me to comprehend, even though I've heard this now from you, this portion of your life twice. I consider myself a very strong person, and I've gone through insanities in my life. Yeah. If I lost my wife though, like, I'm not sure I would recover from that, and I have 2 kids and a thriving business with employees. Like, I'm not sure I would recover from that. So yeah, like, kudos to you. I think like episodes could be dedicated to just that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I know there's inspirational stories out there, but, and we won't spend a ton of time of that about that on this episode, but wow, like kudos to you. I'm so impressed. You gotta be one of the most impressive people I know for that. I have 2 kids, small, 2 and 4. Yeah. So I'm with them for like an hour and a half, doing nothing else but with them for an hour and a half. And I love them to death. And I'm about to just like, I need a Valium. Like,
yeah. No, Carlos, and I was the same way, to be honest with you. Like I was like that, where I was so overwhelmed. I was beyond overwhelmed with my life in that moment. And that's why I share so much of this now, because I had to quickly learn how to optimize all areas of my life really quickly, basically out of survival.
So this happens Q4 of 2018.
So actually he turned right after Christmas, and by very beginning of February, he was gone. So
2019.
Actually, 2019. Actually, so in January 2019, him and I spoke on stage together, and he was encouraging and inspiring other people about going after their dreams, their businesses. And that's when he started to really not feel good. 2 weeks later, he was gone. And right after that, we went into COVID.
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying. I'm doing the math right now. Like very, very soon thereafter, you're going into COVID. I mean, you're still. I mean, I guess the grieving may never end. I've never had to deal with anything like that, but
Yeah.
you're still figuring things, very early stages of figuring
Yeah.
things out in the business, life,
Yeah. Everything.
parenting, everything.
Everything.
And then COVID hits.
And then COVID.
So at this point, the business has been neglected.
Yeah.
By Q1 of 2019, the business has really been neglected for how long?
It was a good 2 years of everything was kind of just on autopilot. So
Okay.
like we weren't growing anything. We weren't really, it wasn't our main focus. But things were still running. Back then, you could kind of have an Amazon business like that, right? There wasn't anything, there wasn't as many changes as there are now. And, I'm so thankful for that. But there was a lot of times actually where we had to choose, especially towards the end, do we restock or do we pay for the next cancer treatment? Because towards the end, we were doing private cancer treatments.
I hope anybody listening to this wondering like, oh my God, I have to sacrifice one SKU. I hope that really puts things in perspective.
It does.
For people. So wow.
So we almost lost the company for sure. And then
you had employees?
Yeah, we had employees. So just to top it all off, to add some juice to the story, we have about 5 of our employees are refugees from Venezuela. And they had fled Venezuela to Argentina, to Florida also. Then we have other employees in like El Salvador and Macedonia and stuff like that. And, during COVID or right around that time period, they were the providers for their families too. So right after, my husband had passed away, everyone's like, Natasha, sell the business, go back into nursing. Like, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you doing this? And I was like, I'm not quitting. I'm not going to give this up. There's too many people relying on this boat. This boat cannot go down.
I can feel that weight almost on my shoulders right now. Like a whole bunch of people reliant on your business so they could feed their families. Your kids reliant. Everyone's looking at you, and you must have felt like blind leading the blind at this point, right?
It was extremely overwhelming. But I'll just be completely honest with you. Like when your life is like too big for yourself, you have to rely on higher power. So like, I know for a fact my faith at that moment, even though I didn't understand what was happening or why it happened, I didn't waste my energy on that. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do my part and get my skills and I'll share a lot of stuff with you guys. And then I'll let God do his part. And because we can't all go down on this ship. We just can't. So, but it worked out to be a blessing in disguise.
Back up 1 second, and then I want to talk about this like Wonder Woman move you do next, right? But so when you were, air quotes here, just an RN, right?
Yes.
Was there ever like aspirations to say like one day I want to be an entrepreneur, or was that a no-go for you?
I always wanted to go into business for sure. I wanted to have my own company. I never came from a family of entrepreneurs, so it wasn't looked highly upon. It was like, go to university, become a doctor. And that was kind of the track I was headed down. But in my heart, I wanted to have my own company. I wanted to do my own thing. I had no idea what to do. So I had to learn all that myself. Yeah.
Crazy. So let's transition a little bit into Wonder Woman land, right? So, so you pick up the pieces. I'm assuming you kept your team together, the refugees from Venezuela. Yeah. I've seen pictures. Your family's extremely healthy and thriving, and you made it work. Everything's working. The business is working. How in the world, like where does it happen that you say, I have a bunch of spare time on my hands. Let me just go out there and conquer the world of influencing, right? Like how did that happen?
No, that's definitely not what happened. This is what happened actually. So Amazon being Amazon, all of our eggs were in one basket. That was our main source of income. My husband had just passed away. We go into COVID. We're starting to run into shipping issues. And then I have a listing being taken. So I had two major listings being taken down at the same time. And it was devastating. And you can imagine. I remember the moment I was lying in bed and thinking to myself, okay, I have my major listings are down. This is, COVID just happened. The world is basically shut down. Like we are quarantined. No one's touching anything. No one's talking to anybody. Nobody knows what's going to happen in that moment. And I thought a couple things. Well, first I prayed. I'm like, God, like you need to help me with this. Like, give me some ideas because I can't stop what I'm doing. And the one revelation I had in that moment was, okay, one, I can't have all my eggs in one basket, and I can't only be reliant on physical products, and I can't only be reliant on certain products. I have to diversify, and I have to diversify quickly. And the one thing that will help you become recession proof, and this is for anyone listening, is you need to develop skills, marketable skills that are relevant to what's going on in the moment that people are willing to pay for. And that is for physical products or digital products. And so for me, that's when I made that decision. I need to invest into me and become so skilled at something that will be recession proof, will be relevant, that can solve a problem that people are willing to pay for no matter what happens. If I lose my company right now, that's why I asked myself, if I lose my company right now and I have no source of income to pay for to feed my family, my employees, and something, we have to pivot quickly. And that's when I started sewing into my own skills and really learning certain things that I can talk about later. And then I asked my friend, one of my good friends, who's a big business owner, also Amazon seller, but much, much bigger than that. And I was like, what's working right now? Because I couldn't spend money on ads. A lot of people were doing ads. We did try some ads. We did try some other tools, but we weren't making money off of it. It wasn't really working. And so I asked him, like, what's working right now? How can I get traffic? And he's like, TikTok, Natasha. And you guys, at this point, I had never even done a social media post in my life. My team had done that. We were the typical, post an infographic on social media. I didn't do it. My VAs did that. I had never posted a story on Instagram. I didn't know what that was. My team, one of my girls, Daniela, she was like, Natasha, you got to start posting Instagram stories. I'm like, what's that? And she's like, what you're like, start recording what you're doing during the day, like what you're eating and all this stuff. I'm like, why would people want to see that? That's so dumb. And I was so insecure. Also, you guys, people look at me now. I did not look like this 2 years ago. I was a mess. I looked very sickly because I had been so stressed out 2 years ago. And so I just started working on myself, growing myself a lot, investing my skills. And then I started putting out some social media videos. And it took off after a while.
So these social media videos, the ones that took off,
yeah.
Are these IG stories or is this TikTok?
So we started off with TikTok. And I think it was because it was like kind of like a fresh start. I knew that you could get organic reach. It was the only platform you didn't have to pay to play like all the other platforms are. And I think it was because it was kind of low key. It was like, I can test this out. No one will notice.
Right. So like, even if you goof off or there's no judgment because no one's you feel like none of your people are going to see it.
No one will see it. And I actually started testing out Amazon Live videos too back then. Amazon reached out to me and they asked if I wanted to start doing some videos for them too. So not knowing what I was doing, I looked like a fool, I'm not going to lie, but you just kind of have to go through it. It's part of the process. I started doing some makeup tutorials because we were a makeup brand. They did okay, but nothing exciting. I wanted to quit, to be honest. And I think I did quit for a period and came back to it. And then one day I just shared my stories and I was like, oh, by the way, I have 4 kids. And people saw what I look like. And I was like, this is what I've done. And they like went viral overnight. And then I shared another story about, I lost my husband and this is what I've been doing. So I just start putting up more real content about me and my story and incorporating my brand into it. And that's what really took off. And that's what changed the whole game for me. Yeah.
So you're on TikTok, you're doing beauty tutorials, like how to put on makeup and stuff, which I imagine is extraordinarily saturated.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying that's not working out. And you chose that not because you had a passion for that. It was rather like you felt like this would be what would attract the people that buy your product.
Yeah. Like I was still thinking like an Amazon seller, like look at my products type thing. Right. Or what a lot of companies do is like, look at my product, look at this product. And so I was kind of doing that. Plus I didn't have that. My camera skills weren't very good too. Right. Like I literally was starting from scratch. So I think it was a combination of all those things. And once I kind of switched it and started doing more things that were just me, I also had a mindset shift too, where it's like, the only way this is going to work, where I'm like being a mom, running companies, doing social media, is my social media just has to reflect what I'm doing anyway. right? And so that's when I started, it made it a lot easier to do content because I'm like, I would be doing this anyway, and I'm just sharing it. And it was very authentic. It was very organic. It was very relatable. It was very helpful for people, very inspirational also. And it was easier for me. It was less energy because I wasn't like a makeup tutorial YouTuber. You know, I think that's why it was so hard for me to try to do makeup tutorials. But when I was just being me and talking about health and wellness and my story, and this is how you manage, you know, being a business owner and, you know, having kids and yeah, this is the makeup I also use. And it was kind of a combination of beauty and wellness, but it was just way more of just being me. It was easier for me and it was more relatable for the audience, and they loved that. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
you're selling, it's almost like you're selling the lifestyle and not the product.
Exactly. That's
absolutely.
Exactly.
And this mindset shift you had, could you talk a little bit more about that? What did you just do a makeup video one day and then say, you know what, instead of hitting end here, I want you guys to know I have 4 kids. Like what was the mindset shift?
Yeah. You know what? And this is kind of the mindset you have to have whenever you're doing anything new. It's a lot of just testing, a lot of throwing things out there. Most of it's not going to work, but the ones that work, go with it. Right. And so it was a thing where I was like, you know, doing a nail makeup tutorial one day. And then another day I was like, you know what? And I'm truly, honestly, very, very passionate about health and wellness too. Not only being a former nurse, but also watching what my husband went through with cancer, and then having to, you know, take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, hormones, all that stuff. So I just one day shared my story. I'm like, yeah, I've had 4 kids. This is what I do. This is how I eat. And this is how I waist train. This is how I work out. And that's what took off. And so that's when I started kind of feeding that more. And then I did another video. So this is another video idea for you guys, where it's like, this is the story of my brand. And, you know, did a bunch of stuff there and just kept testing different video. And at the same time, you guys, you have to also remember, I was very, very, very intentional about sharpening my skills. So I wasn't just like throwing videos out there. I was very intentional. I was studying videos. I was learning about copywriting. I was learning about how to connect with people. I was learning, even though it was very authentic and genuine and organic, like me being me, I was still very, very intentional of sharpening my skills for that platform and how to connect with people. So that's also important, because a lot of people, and I see this all the time, influencers that, you know, even had a bigger audience than I did for starting, they kind of stayed the same, where I was always trying to optimize what I was doing, always. And I understood the algorithm. I understood the importance of algorithms because I came from an Amazon background. So I was like always testing things like, okay, I think this is triggering the algorithm. I think the algorithm's favoring this. I think it's favoring that. So it was a really nice combination of having an Amazon seller background and that mindset, and knowing how to optimize and test things and not quit, mixed with how do I genuinely connect with people and influence people, and build a community that's organic and authentic. So it was powerful.
I love that. I love that you're sharing that. Like in short, it sounds like what you're saying, you put in the work.
Oh, like, for sure.
Yeah. You put in the work. There's this really nice canvas that I wanted to get. And it said, I don't know how I'm going to mangle it, but it was like, success is never owned. It's rented, and the rent is due every day, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
It sort of kills me also, like when other people talk about selling on other channels like Walmart and eBay and all this other stuff. They're like, you know, it sucks. It doesn't work. All these other things. And I'm like, you listed the products. Did you do anything else to try to sell them? Like, did you optimize? Did you research? Did you attend webinars? Did you do a fraction of what you do to achieve the success you have on Amazon, on these other platforms, to make them work before just throwing the flag up and saying they suck? In this case, you put in the work, even when you thought like, I'm just going to do makeup tutorials. You tested, you're like, okay, this is not working. Let me try this. You found something that worked, you tripled down, and then you honed your skills. I love that. I think that's really the success on almost any platform.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it builds your confidence. So now, because even right now, TikTok's changing, right? As those platforms are changing, but now I have that confidence, like whatever the next platform is, I will go and I will test it out. I'll figure out what the rules of the game are, and I will be so focused on it and work my butt off and just do it.
What is your take on, I want to word this in a way that's not biased because like I have an opinion here and I don't want it to like influence. Okay. So like what somebody's degree of passion towards a product or a brand that they're starting on Amazon.
Yeah.
How important, like, do you believe that the more passionate someone is about the product or they want to be passionate about the product, the greater success they could have, say, doing TikTok and other videos to grow their brand?
That's such a good question because, I did start like so many other people where it's like, okay, you're just trying to find a good product that people want to buy. Right. And it is kind of hard to, create stories and stuff around something and create content around something that you're not necessarily super passionate about. But that is just a step into the right direction for you. So you might not be passionate about, selling nail clippers, for example. But you might be really passionate about, sports for kids or something. I'm just pulling this off the top of my head. And if you can kind of connect your passion with that product, it'll be a lot easier for you to, create stories and content around that. Or what will happen is you're going to, at the very least, develop skills for understanding, developing systems. How do you sell products? How do you, optimize listings? All those skills that you're needing for sales is super, super important. Even if it's over something silly or something small and trivial, then once you got that down, you can take that and apply those skills to something that you are more passionate about. Because when you can tie, and this is where I'm at now in my life, and I love it so much, but it took me a long time to get here, is when you can connect your passion to your skills, to something that's relevant in the moment, and you're literally serving people, your heart is to serve people. When you can merge all those things together, it's powerful. But you're going to have to start somewhere, and it's okay. So no matter where you are and where you're starting, if you're even if you're not passionate about that right there, you're still developing those skills. So be passionate about developing those skills because you're going to need it for your next thing.
I love it. I think that's going to be the teaser for this episode right there. What you just said, like basically when your skills are married perfectly with an opportunity, a current day opportunity that serves people, that's the magic.
Yeah. And you're passionate about it.
Absolutely.
It energizes you.
What TikTok is your major channel. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for now it is. Yeah.
For now. Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned Amazon Live Video. Where does Amazon Live Video fit into this mix with you?
Yes. Okay. So I have tested Amazon Lives and I was doing that and it's doing good. I think it's extremely important to get on Amazon Live. Extremely, extremely important. It's my next focus. I kind of tested it out, but what I noticed was my audience on TikTok was a lot bigger, especially with my live streams. And I was finding it hard logistically to manage Amazon Live, Instagram, TikTok, all at the same time. So now that, my TikTok is really solid and my live streams are really solid, now my focus is going to be taking over Amazon live streams for sure. Because I think it's very, very relevant and very, very
I think you're going to crush it with Amazon Live. I look forward to seeing that rise.
Thank you. You know what, you guys, it's like, this is your competitive edge. This is if you're like feeling like you're losing everything right now, this is your competitive edge, because most big companies aren't going to do this. They're struggling with that. And even if you're like a one-man show or you're a small company, if you can just figure out how to build story and content around your products that's relevant to what's going on in people's minds right now, their pain points, and you just take that time to develop those skills, and there's more than enough resources out there to help you with that, and you just tell yourself you're not going to quit, you will be so ahead of everybody else.
Amen to that. I said something when I spoke at Rise, and a few times when I'd say something, I'd look over to you. I'm like, this is a real influencer here. Like, let's see. And you gave me like, sometimes I'd get the nod, right? I'm like, yes.
Everything you said, Carlos, was amazing. It was on point. It was accurate. I was taking notes. I was recording. It was amazing. Honestly, you're not giving yourself enough credit. You're brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I said something, it's an opinion that I have, that if you own a business, you are an influencer. Now, whether you're influencing or not is a totally different conversation. So for someone that is a business owner, and for that, by that definition, we feel like they're an influencer. Some people, no matter what we say here, they're just going to be like, there is no way. I'm not going to like learn the skills. I'm not going to hire someone to learn the skills. I'd rather just hire somebody. Right. I think it's not an either or. I think you could totally do both. Like, but
yeah,
what for the person that is just absolutely going to refuse to listen to everything we say here, and they just want to hear like, listen, I just want to know how to work with Natasha. Like, how can I somehow get the attention of the Natashas of the world and the influencers and see if we're a good fit? Will they work with me? How do I get their attention? Can you share like maybe one or two huge no-nos that you get? Because I assume you get reached out to a lot that are just, I'm not even answering this. I want to send you to spam. Like, what's a bad way to reach out to an influencer?
Yeah, definitely. It's so funny because I think like I'm even guilty of doing this as a seller on the other side of things. But, you know, I get a lot of automated messages and they're just, you know, here's my link. You can tell it's an automated message and that's it. And I'm just, for the most part, I'm just like, no, like my team, I've already trained my team, unless it's super relevant to our audience. I'm not going to do it because this is what happens as an influencer, you guys. It takes a lot of time and energy to build the trust of your community. And I've put a lot of time and energy in just feeding my community. They trust me, right? And I'm at the point now when I recommend stuff, they want to buy it, or they're asking me, you know, what supplements to use, what waist trainer to use, like literally everything. And so my reputation is on the line. And so if I'm just like throwing out random products, I'm going to lose that trust. So as an influencer, trust is huge for them, right? That's their baby. That's their asset. So you want to just come at them adding value. So how I approach, because I have a lot of micro influencers that follow me now too. And how I work with them is, hey, I always think about them. Hey, this will help you. I think this is relevant. This might be relevant to your audience. You know, we can do a collaboration. Well, I'll post your content onto my social media. So if it's a win-win situation, like a very genuine win-win situation where your product is going to help my audience, and we can do a collaboration where, you know, you can post it on, we'll post on each other's feeds or email list or community, have that cross exposure, then you got my interest.
What about for someone that is the typical, I feel like the type of person that's unwilling, the type of brand owner, and let's say they do have a really successful product and that the product is a good fit. Like, let's just check those boxes.
Okay.
Right. And the type of person that's not willing to invest in building out a TikTok channel, and being and influencing as an owner or anything like that person is probably also the type of person that doesn't have a channel to sort of swap with you value for value. If a person doesn't have an amazing social channel to like expose what you do and vice versa, what would be the way to approach you? Like, not a template, but how could they successfully do this? Like, for sure. In that first email, like, are you quoting numbers? Should they what?
So there's a couple things you can do. One, you can, if you have like legitimately an awesome product and you think that we can work together and it would be beneficial to my audience. For example, my audience is moms, predominantly ambitious working moms, stay-home moms, stuff like that. You can still reach out to me like, hey, this is, first of all, you know, I love your content. Like, I can tell that they're genuinely looking at my content, right? And there's a genuine interest in that and appreciation for that. And then it's like, hey, this is my product, or this is something I think your audience might benefit from. Can we just have a quick chat? And can we have a quick chat, a quick call, and see how this can be like a win-win situation, or how I can, you know, work with you on this? I think for me on my end, it's just like being super genuine about it, like connect with me versus just like, here's a link, let me send you a free product, you know? So, I mean, you can do that too. I have had companies that I was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of interested in that product, and they'll just send me, make it easy for me. Don't get me to like go and, you know, have to order anything, because those are the partnerships that haven't succeeded because I'm so busy. So if I'm having to like do all this work trying to order a product at this stage, maybe when I was smaller, yeah, but at this stage, I don't have time for it. So you need to make it really easy for the influencer, make it really easy for me, send me the product. If you can do it in a way, in a nice packaging with like maybe a note or something, that will stand out. And that's something that I can post on my stories right away. So that's, even for me, I've learned that now. Now I know how to treat influencers because I know how I don't want to be treated. And so now when we're reaching out to influencers, I want it to be really personal. I want it in a pretty bag or a box and with like a nice little personal note. And that makes them want to post it on their social media right away. Make it so easy for them. And even if you don't have like a social following or anything, some other things that brands can do, like I have brands now that are paying me. They're going on like kind of like a subscription monthly where, and I have to believe in their brand. I have to believe in their story. So make sure you know what you're about, because that's really important. And then they can, they're paying me monthly and I'm incorporating their products into my live streams or my videos, but it's in a very genuine way. So it's like, for example, if I'm working out, I do workout videos with my audience, and if they have like a yoga mat, I'll talk about the yoga mat, and then I'll talk about the story behind the brand. So really showing the influencer not only the product, but the story behind the brand, and just like, or even like the mission behind your brand. Those are the things that are going to make you stand out. And if you don't have any sort of audience, you can offer them, some sort of compensation for their hard work and their time. I'm at the point where I don't do things for free anymore, just because, my time is limited now. So yeah, there's ways around it for sure.
When you mentioned that, some people send you free stuff and you're like, yeah, I really want to get that. I would imagine, because I don't want someone listening to this. Yeah. People have a tendency, especially PL sellers, to think their product is the best thing since peanut butter. So I'm assuming here when you said that yeah. This was a known brand to you already. And you were like, I wanted something like this, not some generic thing that hasn't gained any traction anywhere yet. Is that correct?
You know what? I'm just thinking of a brand off the top of my head. And I think she was a lady owner. She had a really cute product and no social media following, or very small. But just how she packaged it and sent it to me, and I didn't have to order it. She just sent it to me. I posted on my stories right away. So she made it easy for me. It was really cute, the packaging, and it didn't matter. I liked it. And I never had heard the brand before. So it doesn't matter if you're a no name. It's just like, it's the packaging. Like how are you presenting to it? Make it easy for the influencer to want to post about it and talk about it. Give them something to talk about. If it's just some random like gadget, there's no story behind it. I don't know you, you don't know me. There's no mission behind this. It's like, now it's work for me to have to come up with some sort of story to show my audience why this product is special. Like make it easy for them to talk about your product.
Would it help with you if the person showed how they had worked with other influencers and like, here's where it was mentioned, here's how it was done? Maybe, yeah. I don't want to say competitors, but in your industry, yeah, totally. That would help.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because an influencer, they want to help the company, like they want it to be a win-win situation. Right. And so if you're giving me tools also, it's like, hey, this is working really well with other influencers and you're showing me that, of course I'm going to want to do it. And then, take it to that next level. For sure.
Natasha, you crushed it.
Awesome.
In this episode, you absolutely crushed it. The people listening to this that now know, like, look, bring your A game if you're going to contact me to like work with you. Like, I want to work with you. I want to help your brand, but they now know the blueprint on how to make this a reality. What is the best ways on social, email, if you want to share it, anything like that people can reach out to you to work with you?
For sure. For sure. So now I have a few different audiences. So if you just like on a personal level need help with like your mindset, body transformation, just life transformation, you're needing some inspiration, needing some growth strategies, because really your business right now, your family life, everything that's going on in your life right now is a reflection of what's going on with you. So that's your starting point. Okay. So my company didn't grow, my social didn't grow until I grew. So I put in even more work on me than I did with my company and my family, and naturally everything else would grow too. So if you're needing help with that, you can reach me on my email. It's Natasha, Natashia at Mia, M-I-A, Adora, ADORA.com. So you can message me there. Or I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, Natasha Mensah. If you're wanting help with like collaborations, so you're needing help with like live stream, social media, you're a brand owner and you want to work with me on that level, I'm open to that now. I'm starting to work with a few other brand owners as well. And your audience is, moms, women, ambitious women, stuff like that. I do like workout videos, makeup tutorials, beauty tutorials, kitchen stuff, anything to help really inspire people to live a healthier life and help moms and women feel better about themselves, how they're looking as well. You can also reach me at the same email. And yeah, if you're just wanting some inspiration, you can also follow me on TikTok at Miadora Beauty is my TikTok. Yes. I
love it. Before letting you go, the question I ask everyone on the show,
yes.
Main motivation for this is I'm a voracious reader, always looking for books. What is your favorite book and why?
Yes. And before I tell you that really quick, you guys, I spent hours and hours and hours and hours reading and listening to books. Okay. That's another thing. I cannot leave that part out.
Something else we have in common.
Yeah. That doesn't happen by accident. You have to sharpen your skills and there's no excuse. So audiobooks I listen to and read books. So my favorite audio, I'm going to give you two really quick. So 7 High Performance Habits. What is it called? It's by Brendon Burchard. 7 High Performance Habits, I believe is what it's called. If you look at high performance habits, Brendon Burchard, you'll find it. That was literally the first book I read after my husband had passed away and I had to become a new person, because that's essentially what you have to do when you're going through this transition, is you have to become a new person. So I read that book. And then my favorite book right now, this also I strongly recommend for you guys right now, is called The $100 Million Offer by Alex Hormozi, I believe his name is. Have you heard of that one, Carlos?
Oh yeah. It's on my list that I'm about to read.
Yeah.
Popped up in First Million podcasts and several other podcasts that have been recommending it. Haven't read it yet. You said you've read it, and you're recommending it. Twice. Okay.
I've listened to it twice. Yep. Yeah. Listen to that one right away. If you're needing help with sales and you need to pivot quickly, like today, stop what you're doing and go listen to that audio and take notes.
I love that. I'm going to bump it to the top of my list. Just too many amazing people have been recommending this. The High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard,
yes.
I'll look up the title. Your email, your social handles, LinkedIn, everything's going to be in the show notes of this episode for an easy way. So don't try to write down the email while you're driving, listening to this, anybody. But High Performance Habits, I am swear by. I do journaling. So I use Brendon Burchard's High Performance Planner, I think it's called.
Yes.
I use that one religiously. Yes. So
that's what I started off with too. You need it. If right now, you guys, you are your greatest asset. You have to invest into you every single day. It's a non-negotiable. Yeah.
I love that. I could totally see how somebody working with you would that needs that pick me up or that needs that sharper edge could get it. Cause I'm here, I found myself there's no way I'm going to do this interview without not working out beforehand. And now I'm about to read a bunch of powerful books and I'm jazzed. So you crushed it. You're an amazing person. Everybody, I hope you jump over and check out the TikToks.
Yes, please.
Find her on Amazon Live Video. She's going to blow up there. I'm going to read the books. And is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you so much. And just encourage all of you that's listening, no matter what you've been through, I promise you can come back stronger if you just focus and do everything that Carlos and I were talking about today. But I love you guys. I love you guys, honestly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Natasha. I'll talk to everybody next week.
It was fun sharing this episode with you. If you found value in what you've heard, please show your love with a subscribe, rate, and review of the show. Until next time.